When I come to Vietnam, I see the trend. And I understood that the cloud trend in many other countries will come to Vietnam very, very soon. And from the time, I always ask local people. Some of them I know, some of them I trust more, some of them I work for a long time. And when people say to me, no, it will not work in Vietnam, I know this is the time for you to start.
Oh, wow. How so? Hello, guys. Welcome to the Vietnam Rising podcast. This is Mintam, your host. And today, joining with me is Doron Shachar from Renova Cloud. And today, he is going to share with us so many valuable lessons of him staying and being in Vietnam for the past 12 years, bringing innovative technology into the market. Hello, Doron. Can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure, Tom. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Doron. I live in Vietnam for the last 12 years. Originally, I'm from Israel, and I used to live in Hanoi for 7 years, and then move here to Ho Chi Minh City. I'm the founder and the CEO of a company named Renova Cloud. Our target is to help company to automate and to move to the cloud infrastructure and to build their cloud environment. Basically, this is part of digital innovation that many organizations today are going through, and we are part of it as an integrator and I would say consulting company in this area.
All right. So, like, when you came the first time, was it because you heard about Vietnam and you were like, okay, let me come here and let me try to open a business here, or how did that happen? Can you?
Oh yeah, sure. No. At that time, I was living in Hong Kong, and I was managing one Israeli company, and this company dealing with services. At that time, it's called value-added services to the telcos that just start to think about data, just start to get into the new generation and everything. And Vietnam was one of the countries that I was looking after. And when it started, my first time in Vietnam, I wouldn't forget it. I was still in Hong Kong, and it was like 2005. And I wouldn't forget my first time landing in Vietnam. First of all, I remember at that time, we had a business all over Asia at that time, and I had a team, and I spoke with one of my sales guy, and I told him that I'm probably gonna visit Vietnam. He said to me, "Vietnam, man? What are you gonna do there? Check out if there is not still a war going on there."
Oh, wow.
I said to him, "Man, calm down. The war over 35 years ago, so calm down. They are pretty well. I check, I read about them. Looks like very interesting." I land from Hong Kong. I took a flight to Vietnam. I'm talking about 2005 to Hanoi. And I was shocked. I get into the visa and everything, and get out, everything was dark. It was 8 p.m. in the evening. Everything was dark all the way to the 3 or 4 hotels that was at that time only operate in Hanoi. There was Sheraton and the Hilton, and I went first to the Hilton. And it was like, that was a real shock for me. And step by step, we start our business in Vietnam. And I start to understand the way of doing business here in Vietnam, how to connect to the people, how to meet them, how to create the trust. And I find myself like coming very, very frequently to Vietnam. And our business start to grow in Vietnam very well. And then I said, wow, this country gonna have amazing future, amazing future. And I decided to, and I told to my to the owner of the company, I told him, listen, we're gonna continue to work together, but I'm gonna invent my own company in Vietnam, if you don't mind.
Ah, wow.
And he said to me, oh, what's that? You know, it's mean you're gonna leave us? No, I said, no, we're gonna stay together, but I will be independent. And he said, all right. It's mean that we continue the same. I said, absolutely the same. We continue, and they were so happy. By the way, we are still working together until today. So we are yes. The foundation that I built at that time in Vietnam with the telcos and banks, same connection for 12 years, and a lot of people that are still, we are working together and still know each other. And of course, all the time, every time that we meet each other, we still remember the first time we met each other.
That's very great.
So
yeah. I mean, the great thing about, I think, in networking and business in Vietnam is everybody is very community based, and it's very like within the network, right? Like if you're in the network and people know about you, then they really support you, and it's really builds upon trust. But how do you get started on that? How do you build trust into a new country that they don't know you before?
You build trust by listen. You build trust by being very, very humble, and you build trust by not being arrogant and think that you know everything. And even you see a lot of things that you think, oh, why they don't do it like that, or why they don't do it like that. You basically observe. And the first thing that I would love to suggest, and this is my rule of thumb for every place that I go, and especially a country like Vietnam, observe and keep your mouth shut up. And don't think that the people need your advice. Don't think that you are that kind of a smart guy or something like that. You are not. They know the country. They know where they are. They know the process. You are just another guy that came here and trying to offer something that they might be in some part help them to build a business. Don't get too proud of yourself. You are not that interest, and be humble. And this is especially here in Vietnam. And you put and you start to build your relationship step by step by step, and get connected with the people. And sometimes they ignore you, sometimes they don't answer you, and in many cases you are waiting, and you don't and you learn not to push. You learn here in Vietnam you cannot push people to move on. They have their own pace, especially in big organization. And the story in big organization is here in Vietnam, which is, you can see it everywhere. Even the top management, even if you have access to, let's say, the CEO or anybody else, it's fine. It's a good start, and he can give his bless to his project or something. You even didn't start your job. You have a lot of work to do on the mid-level, the lower level, and everybody, because if the people around it wouldn't agree to go ahead, and they don't see this project as a beneficial project, they would never do it, and you will find obstacles all over the way. So the consensus inside the organization is so important. So it doesn't come like that. It doesn't come like that. You are coming and you got an order from the CEO or the chairman and thing done. Forget about it.
Yeah. I mean, and I think culturally in Asia in general, people are very network based, and you build upon trust. You might know someone for like 5-7 years, and only when there's the right time, then that's when you start doing the business together. And I agree, like we do technology and implementations, like the software implementations to our company's customer as well. And what we learn is that sometimes the person who paid the software or the contract is not the one who decide if that system or technology is gonna last forever, right?
Of course.
So basically, like the CEO, he only cares if his staff able to use it and see the benefit of it. If it doesn't benefit for them, then he doesn't care how much or how beneficial for him on the cost. He wanted to make sure that the staff, they would use it. So do you take that in mind in building your technology?
Well, I must tell you, every project that start smoothly for me, I know there is no project over there. If there is no difficulties, if there is no struggling during the process, and even in the beginning, which is like you're having difficulties to access, you're having difficulties to explain what you're doing and that, and people get you step by step. This is the way that you might have a good chance to get the project, or you see that. And many people, and many salespeople especially, they don't understand that there is a very, very kind of a process that you must struggle in order to get it. For example, in many cases, when I used to work with very big companies in banks, they asked me, who is the decision maker? I said to them, what is that? What does it mean, who is the decision maker? This is a question that somebody doesn't understand Vietnam. This is a question that somebody does. There are many people that each one of them is important in this kind of process. And this is something that is might bring you to a kind of that the bank will consider seriously to go for the next step of evaluation, or to go for the next step of even discussion or negotiation or anything like that. You have to work very, very hard for that. And in most cases, vendors and companies are not ready for that, and they give up. They give up on this kind of market because it's a very, very tough market in order to get into, especially in the enterprise. But of course, things have been changed a lot during the last 10 years. And companies are getting more open, and they are having internal process into them to get new things, or for procurement and everything. But still you have to struggle a lot, and you know it from your company.
Yes.
There are, we have a mix. For example, in Renova now, in Renova Cloud, we have a mix of very young and senior people and everything. And for those young guys, every sentence that I say to them is going to keep with them forever. So I try always to be positive. I'm always being positive, even if I know that I made a mistake on everything. I try to explain them and say to them, that's fine, go ahead, you did right, you took a decision. I love people when take a decision, even they make it wrong. So I want to change their mindset, and I can see it. I can see it here in my own small environment of our company. Coming back, listen. It very much depends on which kind of organization you are working here, because there are different culture here, and there are many young organization here. A lot of young organizations. So Vietnam, especially during the last 6 years, 7 years, has been tremendously grow with so many new organizations that established by the new generation of Vietnam, and they think different. They wanna be in a different situation than their parents. They wanna do other things. They support the family. So they are, in one hand, they have the culture of the family behind them, and but on the other hand, they are very exposed to the Western. They love to touch new technology, and they listen to different kind of culture, music, and everything. And this is all influence them, very very much influence them. So they're so they want to see something, and they think, all right, let's try it. And today I must telling you, the way, we used to work in the past in the kind of like, okay, the salesman guy coming, he present to the CIO or the CTO of the company. Then we go for a RFP or a tender, or RFP is request for proposal or technical. And then coming the dollar story. It doesn't work anymore like that. The guys, the one who decide about a new software, new solution, and everything are the user themselves. And who are the user? These are the developer themselves of the company. These are the guys, and they try it immediately. They want to try. They want to see how it works. And if they see that it's bring them benefit and it bring them help, yes, they take it. If they say no, they cut it up on the front. They will never use it. And this is the beautiful things today that things change. And that's the right way that things are getting better here in Vietnam in this kind of I would call process.
Yes. Well, so one thing that I notice when we do implementations in technologies in those company is that there are people that benefiting on the like the imperfections of the old procedure and software. That could mean many things. And those, even though they are the user, they actually could act as the barrier and resist the change and implementations. So do you ever have those kind of like resistance from the user? And what is your best recommendations for to handle them?
Of course, we have endless resistance. This is something that if you don't face, it's mean you don't do projects. When you're doing project, you're gonna get. You should be ready for a lot of resistance inside. And you need to educate. You need to educate the people all the time, and you can put a plan from here to the sky. There is this kind of very famous boxer. I don't know if you know him, Mike Tyson. You heard about him. He's it's the right boxer. He's right. Yeah. So he's having a very famous quote, and his quote is saying, "Everybody got a plan until he get a punch in his face." And this is something that I really love to all the time say to myself. And yes, we get a plan. And then you see, so how you do that? You do it by listening and trying to understand. Try to understand where is the barrier. And in many cases, it's not a technology barrier. It's not a technology barrier. It's emotional barrier. It's emotional. And many projects, people make a huge mistakes in project. When my guys coming to me and describe to me what's going on in a certain project, and they say to me, we are stuck. and they start to tell me, oh, he didn't give us this file, we asked for that file. He gave us that file, we asked for this one. We did that, we did that. Not at all. It's emotional. Find out where is the emotional barrier. And you will realize that in so many cases, I wouldn't say it, but in so many cases in project management, is either they don't like the project manager, either they don't like something in the sales process, something in front they don't like in the company, they have an issue with one person or other person, and this is purely human being emotional barrier that you need to understand where they are. At the moment you understand where they are, you can solve it immediately. You can solve it, but it takes time to understand where is the emotional barrier. And
do you feel that kind of like using the emotions in business is kind of unprofessional? Because it creates so much barriers or resistance in the business or in work, where business is supposed just to be a business. People
involving
their
Oh, okay. I disagree. I totally disagree with you, Tom.
Yeah, can you elaborate more?
I totally disagree with you, Tom. We are doing business with people, and it's been like that thousands of years ago, when the old Hebrew men ran out of Egypt as a slave and start to sell stuff in the Sinai desert, and it's came until today, and it will be probably going to sustain like that. In all of the cases, it's all about human, and emotion is part. So I tell you something, show empathy. Show empathy to the size in front of you. Not only say to him from the mouth outside, yes, I understand you, and there's all of this kind of politically correct word and sentence. People don't buy it. People understand and feel your energy. People see your empathy, if you are care or doesn't care. People feel immediately if they have a human connection with you, if they feel good together with you, or they feel scratchy around you. And they feel it immediately. And you cannot imitate here. You cannot imitate it. And when somebody do not feel, or I say, so comfortable with me, I feel it immediately, and I say to my guys, I didn't pass him. I want you to go again without me. Something didn't went wrong. And when I pass somebody, I can feel it. So we had many cases, or some cases, that I feel that, for example, my communication with the CTO is very good. My communication, or the empathy between me and the CEO, was very good. But on the other hand, some of the guys from the technical, I didn't pass them. I took step back, because it's all about people and emotional. It's not only business. I totally agree. Yes, technology come after. You need to show your value. You need to show what is the real value that you bring to the company, and why they should choose you and not others. And they always have options. And this is normal. This is normal, like every business. So empathy is the key, especially in today business.
I see. That's very interesting. Well, I agree on the part that we should show empathy and makes a human connections with our clients, even though it's business to business. But it doesn't mean that a client couldn't be lifelong partner, like your partnership with you and Jet Views in Hong Kong, or like their previous company in Hong Kong, right?
Right.
But in, well, particularly in Vietnam or like in Asia, right? We take it, I feel it's a bit too far by bringing that kind of business and empathy to outside of work, like into, you have to go through so much of dinner, of talking, of networking, just to get someone to really like you, and I feel like that's a lot of
Sure.
work.
It's a
Do
lot
you
of
think?
work. Absolutely.
But it's worth it for you. Your
Um,
opinion, it's worth it.
that's a lot of work. You need to work here very, very hard. I totally agree. And my parents. I had amazing parents, and a lot of things I've been studying for them. First of all, uh, fight all the time to give, to show your value. And the second thing is, if you want to receive, you must look around for something to give. And this is so important. You need to show to people that you are willing to give. And I have so many examples that I give a lot, and I continue to give, and it's okay. I don't feel anything like, oh, I give so much, it didn't give me. It's part of the way. I know it will come back to me in a good way later on. And this is the way you are doing business here. This is the way you are connected between people. And this is the way that people remember you and know you as a valuable person, as a good person. And this is very, very, very important. For me, it's more important than business, honestly. And to be a good person, to be a person that contributes something. And of course, like everybody, but I'm not running like crazy. And I know project come, project go is fine,
Yes.
is normal. I tell you something. I see when I come to Vietnam 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I see the trend. And I understood that the cloud trend that happened 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years in many other countries will come to Vietnam very, very soon. And this is, I tell you something. When I'm looking at a trend here in Vietnam, and from the time I always ask local people. I always ask local and people that some of them I know, some of them I trust more, some of them I work for a long time. And when people say to me, no, it would not work in Vietnam, I know this is the time for you to start.
Oh wow! How so? Why? Because
Because
isn't that kind of contradicting what you just said? Because you were saying earlier that we should be listening to the locals and they might know the
sure.
best about the market. But then you also say that if the local hasn't known yet, then there's an opportunity for you to jump in.
Yes, the locals are the people in Vietnam. They understand technology very well. They understand trend and everything. In many cases, they think very locally, and they think like, oh, Vietnam will never allow cloud computing. It's not safe. The government will not allow to get it out of control. And when I ask people why, and they always say to me, because look at China, look at other company which is having a closed ecosystem, they will never allow that. And I understand that it might be applicable to some industries, but it won't be applicable to all. And Vietnam is so many other industry. So yes, there are some industry that are more regulated, like banks or financial or government or security. Definitely, they are not the one to jump into cloud computing. But hello, there are so many other industries here that are still open. and they are moving to the cloud. So I understood, like when I started 3.5 years ago, the company, we were one of the pioneers. There were at that time only like 2 more companies like us, and today there are, I think, like more than 20 plus.
Wow.
And yes, and it's grow because the market grow very, very fast, and everybody understand that this is here to stay. But it's very difficult to build your domain expertise in this business. When you're talking about infrastructure, it's a little bit, well, we are not taking care of servers and the whole infrastructure. We are more taking care the foundation of the automation of the application. In order that, okay, so for example, I give you a good example. When you are click on Momo application and you want to pay your coffee, or you want to do transaction to your friend, or you want to buy a voucher or anything, behind that there is a mechanism that automate all of this customer journey. So this is the customer journey that without cloud automation, without very strong behind that automation process that must be on the cloud, it cannot be on on-prem, it won't work. Why? Because let's say Momo or any other application, or let's say a wallet, they do a promotion. Let's say tomorrow there is a birthday in a very big university and they want to do a promotion for all the students in Vietnam. Wow, in 2 days or 1 day of promotion, they're gonna have a huge scale of user in 1 day. So they are not gonna buy a server and build everything as and preparing for that. They want to do it now and make sure that the application is not crash. So the only way to do it,
it's more of a capacity solutions more than a where to run on, basically, right?
Scaling up and scaling down. Scale up and scale down. This is the way today. Today, everybody want to work, and don't forget, everybody want to now to get new services to the market, and nobody is going to wait a month for the new services. When a marketing coming with any kind of company, they will come up to the CEO or come up to the business guy and say to them, our competitor doing this and this and this, we must do that and that for this. They want to do it tomorrow, and they are not going to wait for 1 month or 2 months. So the only way to do it is by building your cloud foundation.
I see. So I remember about a year ago, AWS actually has an incident where their server, I think it shut down for a few minutes or a few hours, right? And then there was so much news about how much disruption had happened because all the other technology or all the other apps was running on AWS. And because of that incident, it cost millions and billions of dollars for companies because their operations couldn't run. So what's your advice on how to, prevent that to happen to a company?
First of all, this incident, especially incident you are talking about, wasn't on AWS. It was on Google GCP, and it was related. Yes, it was related mostly for their application G Suite that had a very big issue. But anyway, listen, nothing is today is safe like forever, but I must say all the big player, you mentioned AWS, Google and Azure and others, they give a guarantee to the customers, to the end user, that they are not going to lose their data for 99.999 11.9 after the 9 that they are not going to use the data, and they use it by investing enormous amount of money and infrastructure all over in order to back up your data, in order to back up the application and everything. So if you compare that to think about you are having a in-house kind of IT room with some server, there is no comparison. Plus, don't forget there are several ISPs, internet service provider here in Vietnam, that provide kind of local cloud for basic services. It can be storage, it can be security, it can be database hosting and others. So they can do that, but they're still far away in terms of technology from the big four. But yes, so there are many options. So my humble advice to any company, whatever it is, it can be banks, it can be any other companies, and we work with different kind of level of companies. My first advice is build your backup NDR, and then move on. And building backup NDR is something that you need some expert to do that. But as long as you build it, it's run, and you are, I would say, 99.99, 11.9, you are safe. So
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. So so you're specialized in just bringing and developing innovative technologies for many industry. So do you, for Vietnam, for any emerging market, do you think it's better to get the first mover advantage and educate the market the way you want about the technology, or you would prefer to wait till the market is ready when there are multiple players in and the consumers already know what that technology is? Do you think which way is better for an emerging market?
My way, in order to get advantage, this is my way, because when I see that there are too many ships in the market, in the ocean, and there are so many nets running after 2 or 3 fish that are running around, it might be too late. I wouldn't get any advantage. I'm trying to always look ahead, like 3 to 4 years ahead, and I know that it's taking a process. But when you are bringing a new technology, or you bring a new innovation to the market, that the market is not ready, you also learning a lot of things on this market. But you need to be very tough, first of all, mentally. You need to be very humble and mentally be strong, and understand that it takes time to educate the market. It will come, and it won't come in one day. It will come step by step, but you will see the progress. And I see that back 12 years ago in several innovations that I start, and I see the process and I see the progress, and it's going almost in every industry. So coming back to your question, personally, I rather to be earlier than the market to start. That's give me something. But of course, you have to take under consideration to be very humble in terms of cost and cost saving, and not to throw your money so fast in the beginning, because the market is not ready yet.
Was there any kind of big learning for you in bringing new technologies in and realize that the market wasn't ready for it?
Oh yeah, sure. I've been failed so many times, here in Vietnam, bringing in new stuff and new technology. You need to have a plan. You need to have. You cannot come and say, "Oh, there is amazing stuff that I saw that they are doing in Israel, or they are doing that." First of all, the big lesson that I learned, you need to understand the regulation. Vietnam has its own regulation, And in many cases, the reason that you don't see a certain technology or a process going on in a market is because there is either regulation that doesn't allow that, or there is a monopoly company that belongs to the government in somehow that hold the market, that control this market. And you as a newcomer, you cannot get into. So you either cooperate with them and bring them another added value that they can add on, or you either step back and do other things. Because with those guys that are controlling the market, there is a reason that they are controlling the market. And and you need to understand what is the reason. Sometimes you don't understand what is the reason, which is good. You better don't understand. You better don't understand. You don't understand. They have their own reason. It's fine. But you need to know that there is. And it's happened to me in several cases that I was feeling that I'm starting the right thing, and then I realized it's the wrong direction, and you need to go back to the way you start. And I tell you a nice story that I was always kind of. I take it with me. I was in the army in one of the Israeli elite unit, and in my time, we used to go to navigate during the day, during the nighttime, whatever it is, a very heavy rain or a very cold day or anything. So we navigate with a closed map, and you study your route of navigation during the daytime. Of course, you need to present it to your commander and everything, and then you start your way with a heavy lift and a lot of things, and you have to walk via your remembering the path and the topography. It's very, very tough because you need to count your steps all the time, and every moment you need to know where you are. You need to know where you are correction. And in many cases, you find yourself telling yourself stories. What does it mean telling yourself stories? You see a mountain and you said, this is my mountain. Here I need to go. And then, oh yeah, the left side is the right one. The right side is north, west, I'm riding. And then you realize you are totally lost. So what you do when you already walk 20 or 25 kilometers, you need to walk, let's say you have another 25 kilometers or another 20 kilometers to finish your whole route, but you lost your way. What are you going to do? You are in totally, and you cannot open a map. You cannot call to anybody because there is no communication. You are only by your own. So the most thumb of rule that you need to do in this kind of situation, you need to go back to the place that you are sure, 100% sure where you are. 100% sure. So you need to take yourself and go back. And this is a very, very tough. Because you might go back 5 or 6 or 7 or even 10 kilometers back, and you are tired, you are carry a heavy carriage, it doesn't matter. Because if you continue to tell yourself stories, you definitely the army gonna take a helicopter to find you out in the morning, and you're gonna lose your whole prestige and everything in the unit, and that's going to be horrible. So you must go back. So same in business. You need to know where you are. You always need to know what are you doing, and if you feel that you are in the wrong direction or you choose the wrong path, it's fine. It's happened. Go back. Think again. Stop it and see what you're going to do. It's fine. And this is a very, very important lesson that I always take with me.
So earlier, you talk about your belief in getting back into if you're going in wrong directions, you have to be clear and then have to be decisive in getting back and return where to the point where you know that you are right. And you also told that that is the lessons that you learned from being in the Israel army. So I'm not. I know this is very common questions for Israel people, but so Vietnam, like one of the book about Israel, the country is Startup Nations, and it was heavily promoted by one of the most influential writers in Vietnam, and that's why a lot of people has been like research and reading up on that. So I'm just curious, what's your thought on Startup Nation? Is it accurately represent how the Israel mentality mindset is?
I don't like personally. I don't like this book. I think it's this book is very shallow. But I want to take it to a different direction. Well, listen, there is a lot of innovation in Israel, and it's come from different angles, and there is an ecosystem in Israel. There is an ecosystem that has been built, especially during the last, I would say, 25 years. And of course, there are different generations that build this kind of ecosystem. It's Israel is still a young population compared to other places in Europe, but and there is something that is unique to the Israeli, I would say, culture, and you see it all over. So what is the uniqueness and the ecosystem that bring Israel to be a very innovative, and a lot of startups are coming and grow and fail, and this kind of non-stop new companies generation. So first of all is the army. The army is a very strong, I would say, platform for I would say entrepreneurs, young guys. They getting in a very young age. When they are absolutely very young, they got a responsibility. They get trained in an army in Israel. They have a budget, which is a kind of endless budget. They have the most advanced technology. They're doing a lot of things that are related to engineering, to reverse engineering, intelligence, cybersecurity, and everything. And people get those guys that are in the technology part of the army, in the technology arm of the army. They have been chosen very carefully by the army before, because the army have a system to choose this kind of people, and they bring them in, and they train them, and they bring them very, very well practical. So people get, in the very young age, they jump the story of university and everything. From the high school, they go to the army, they get to practice, and they jump very fast. Then they go to university, or they go directly to the startups, and they build something. So this is a very huge ecosystem that it's rarely exists in other countries. So this is one thing that people need to understand. The second thing is the education. It's a relatively small country, and competition is fierce in everything you are doing, and you need to do it fast and make a decision fast and do things in order to make things happen. And you study it and you learn it from very, very early age, and it's going with you. You are always under competition, and it's and under pressure to be successful and make things happen. You know, Joe Biden, which is currently now the president of the United States, every time that he's going to event that related to Israel or Jewish and everything, he have the same story. And what is his story? Well, on the 70s, I'm talking in the 1970s, at that time there was a Israeli prime minister. She was a woman. Her name is Golda Meir. She is a half American Jewish, and she raised in Israel, and she became the prime minister. And he met her, and at that time he was a young senator, and he came to meet her, and he asked her, Miss Golda, what do you think about this and this and that? And she said to him, Mr. Biden, we are in Israel. We are having our secret weapon. And he was very excited. He said, maybe she's going to tell me about kind of a weapon, or I don't know, the Israelis. And he said to her, yes, Miss Prime Minister, what is this weapon? Our weapon is very simple. We have nowhere to go. So we have nowhere to go. It's a myth. It's a myth that was built at that time around Israel. Like, we are around Arabs. It's far away from being like that today. Israel. It's like 40 years past, and Israel has been changed dramatically and everything. But people are in start of kind of urging, when they are very early stage they are very young, to do something. And the other things that is in Israel, and you see it with my son, for example. He is now studying in the university. The army choose him as one of the guys to be study, and the army finance him. He study in the university, engineering, computing engineering, and everything. He's 20 years old. They already give him project to do. They already give him stuff, and everything is flat. There is no hierarchy. And he wants something, he go to the head of this. He go to the head of that. And the hierarchy of talking with people who are older than you, it's almost not exist. So people, young guys, they're exposed so fast to so many things, and it's bring another issue. So this is why I make Israel as a kind of very, I would say, innovative country and that. But don't get me wrong, the most problematic story of Israel during the last 15 years, I'm talking on the business side, on technology, hundreds of companies acquired. And they acquired by the big giant, the American or European giant. So they acquire them when they are in mid-size or even in baby steps. And that's bring a lot of problematic issue to the Israel economy. Why? Because if you don't let a technology company to grow, it doesn't bring more people to work over there. Some of these giant companies, they keep only the R&D in Israel, like some, I don't know, like 50, 100 people, but it is nothing. It doesn't bring real money to the economy for long term, and it doesn't bring big Israeli companies. What you see, there are several Israeli companies, but relatively small amount compared to any other country. So that's a very, very problematic story. And I personally don't like it.
I see. So the challenge of basically the local companies to, stay not getting acquired by giants or multinationals company that's going into the countries, right? I think Vietnam's sharing the same problem right now because of the growing economy. So many companies coming in, but that's mean that the competitions for the mid-size or baby-size companies are so just much harder for them to survive and grow big.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is something, listen, Vietnam is still a very strong hub for engineers, a very strong hub for innovation, and also for outsourcing. Don't forget about it. Even though the salary price getting higher and higher, it's still far away from what people earn in the US or in Europe or even in Israel in terms of don't forget, Vietnam bring to every year around 40,000, 35,000 a year new engineer to the market. You look at Israel, it's a small country compared to Vietnam. It's nothing. So Vietnam has a huge capacity to grow. So massive capacity to grow.
Yeah. So to recap this episode, then I would like you to tell to the audience what is something that you want them to take from this episode. What is the key learning that they should learn from you?
There are many key learning that I would like to say, but something that I would like to emphasize is, first of all, whatever you do, and do it with passion, with a lot of passion, and love everything you are doing. And if you don't feel that you love what you're doing, just quit and move on. You are doing your podcast. You are staying in Singapore. You love it. You enjoy it. You think that this is your mission, and you are doing it with a lot of enthusiasm, and you do it amazing. You do it well, and you invest in it. And this is something that I also learned during my life, also in the army and everything. The tent is never stay or stand by itself. You need to make sure all the time. You need to work very, very hard for him to stay in the storm, in the rain and everything. Otherwise, it won't protect you. And you need all the time to make sure that there are no wolves attack it. And you need to... And tent is never stand by itself. So build your own canoe, build your own, and be on your own rescue, and love what you are doing. This is so important. And I look at myself for the time that I've been here in Vietnam. I love to be here. I enjoy the challenge. I embrace it. Of course, like everywhere, like every person, I used to have a tough time. I used to have a better time. This is not everything is glamorous. Not everything is happiness. And I'm not doesn't look for happiness. I don't like this kind of word. I like the word of do something, be useful, bring value, and this is something that bring you a long-term value. Another thing is persistent. And be persistent, and know that a lot of things need time to build it, need time to be recognized, and it doesn't come in a fast moving. And this is something that I would like everybody to take, especially the young generation. Build yourself, be patient, be humble, and take things with you, and build yourself. And don't build your career, because there is no career today. Do things in the right way and move on. That's it. So that's a thing that I would love to share with everybody.
Yes, that is amazing message. And for those that want to reach out to you, learn more about Renova, as well as like talk to you more about all this message, or all the ways to be entering in the market in Vietnam or Asia in general, then how do they reach you?
First of all, you can reach our website, renovacloud.com. You can reach me over LinkedIn. You can reach me over Facebook. I always reply to everybody. We always have a session here with a young generation student. I love to get our company. We're always getting in newcomers to the companies, guys that just graduate their university, and I look at them and I feel very, very proud to give them the chance. And some of them jump so fast that is amazing here in Vietnam to see those young guys. Is incredible. Things that took me years take for them like months. It's unbelievable. So LinkedIn is Doron.Shachar, Shachar, and Facebook is the same, I think. And dot Char, and also Instagram, Doron SH1, and also on Twitter. So I'm very connected. And I contribute a lot to the politics in Israel, especially against the current government. That I'm really, really not supportive of them.
I see. All right. So any of those topics that they definitely would reach out to you after this episode. So I think this is the wrap for our episode. Again, thank you, Doron, for coming and sharing your insights about Vietnam entering into such an emerging market right now. Thank you guys, the audience, to hanging out and enjoy this episode. If you like this episode, reach out to Doron to talk more to him, or let us know on our social medias like Vietnam Rising Podcast to let us know what is your thought on this episode. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tom.